we have a problem. Your brain is being constantly bombarded by millions of signals. And the truth is, you can't handle it. With the act of a click, you can reach across the world and see what is trending in China. Or maybe check the latest fashion in Italy. Never has humanity been so connected. Yet never have we, the humans, been so alone. We should be the ones using social media, but instead, almost all of us are being used by social media. We've become the product, endlessly consuming pointless reels and repetitive content. We lost our way, so let's find it again. To be able to deal with social media in the right way, you should understand three important aspects. The first being your brain on social media. Our brain wants only one thing, and that is to survive. To do that, it created a complicated system that releases all kinds of different chemicals. Chemicals that give us certain feelings, such as fear, anger, or happiness. We are going to talk about a specific chemical called dopamine. Dopamine plays a role in how we feel pleasure. It is a big part of our unique human ability to think and plan. It helps us strive, focus, and find things interesting. The brain uses dopamine to motivate us to search for shelter, food, or water. And once we found one of them, the brain would reward us by releasing that sweet dopamine, giving us a happy or pleasurable feeling. But like everything in life, dopamine is finite. At some point, your belly would be full, your shelter would be warm, and your thirst would be sated. The dopamine rush would fade away and you could rest for a while, giving your brain the time to replenish your dopamine levels, starting the same cycle over and over again. Sadly for us, our brain hasn't evolved quick enough, and in a way, it still works that way. Only now, we don't have to hunt for food anymore, or search for a warm shelter. We can just live in our parents' basement for the rest of our lives. And we don't have to hunt anymore to get our dopamine hit. We can just go online. When using apps like Instagram, you're constantly being rewarded by your brain. Receiving likes or comments gives us a feeling of social validation, and thus giving us that sweet hit of dopamine. We are social animals by design, and being accepted by your fellow humans gave you a bigger chance of survival, at least it used to, giving us a primal urge to seek validation. Dopamine is directly related to addiction, and although it's not the sole reason for addiction, it plays a big part in it. If that is not bad enough on its own, there's another crucial part we have to deal with. We are becoming less and less comfortable with being uncomfortable. And sometimes, feeling uncomfortable is a good thing. Nothing worth having in this life is free. The more discomfort you feel while pursuing something, the bigger the internal reward when you finally get it. To be clear, I'm not talking about being buried underground in a room full of snakes. I am talking about healthy discomfort. Last year I went on a hike with my best friend in the mountains of Norway. We didn't check the weather forecast because we were absolute beginners. And during the hike we had little to no cell phone reception. We started our hike in a storm. And on the first day, all of our equipment, including ourselves, were soaked. From the 7 days we initially planned, we only finished 3. After returning home defeated, everybody said, "Oh, what a bad holiday," or "What a shame of your trip." But we didn't feel that way. In a way, we loved it. In the moment, walking through the rain with a heavy backpack was absolute hell. But once we were back, everything seemed a little bit better. Our beds seemed softer, our toilets seemed like a luxury again, and our showers felt like heaven. This comfort was necessary to show us how good our normal life actually was and still is. All feelings of mental discomfort are in a way good for you. That includes boredom. Being bored is something we absolutely hate. And in a world where we can find entertainment with a click of a mouse, why should we? Because being bored makes you productive. If you ever needed to work on a project that you absolutely hated, then you know what I'm talking about. You've probably opened a document, typed your title, and then scrolled social media for an hour. You probably felt bad that you hadn't done any work, and instead of working on your project, you suddenly took an interest in mundane tasks, like cleaning your room or vacuuming the house. Because that's being productive too, right? Eventually, you ran out of household chores, spent some more time on social media, and then finally decided to really work on your project. Finishing it in a couple of hours and then thinking to yourself, why did I put it off so much? The answer is simple. Stop avoiding being bored. We're constantly seeking for entertainment, and our phone can give it to us, even if the content doesn't feel as entertaining as it once did. Sometimes life is meant to be boring, and that is a good thing. Being bored is a good thing. The next time you're bored, you have two choices. One, immediately pick up your phone and give your brain the dopamine it so desperately craves for. Or just do nothing. Acknowledge that you're feeling bored, decide to do something productive, and in the end, you're probably going to enjoy that work as well. Here comes the hard part. We know that social media gives us dopamine, and that when we're bored, we want dopamine. We also want to feel comfortable. So, how can we actually use social media? This part is different for everyone. Here is where you have to do the actual work. You have to decide for yourself, why are you on social media in the first place? Is it to see what your friends are doing or to promote your business? Or are you on social media just to pass the time? It's all fine, really. You don't have to banish all social media from your life. In fact, it can be a really useful tool. You can reach millions of people with just your voice, just like I'm trying to do right now. But you have to set limits on what you can use it for. If you are only on Instagram to see what your friends are doing, then make an agreement with yourself that you're only going to check your friends' Instagram accounts for 5 minutes. And then close the app. Set a timer. Download the limiting app. Force yourself to be better. You didn't click on this video because you wanted to stay the same. You want to change your behavior. So have that hard talk with yourself and ask yourself, what can I do right now to change my online behavior for the better? And remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. You can't expect yourself to have an iron will within seconds. You'll probably grab your phone a few times without even noticing it. And that's okay, as long as you stop the moment you become aware of it. If you truly want to change your behavior, you can do it. I believe in you. And remember, be bored and embrace being uncomfortable.